This week on Ironmind.
3! Get that shit, Brian! This one's called Signs of the Times.
What happened to me in my childhood, I always felt inadequate, that I didn't matter.
My name is Brian Rose, and I host a show called London Real. A few months ago, John Joseph, the frontman of the hardcore punk band the Cro-Mags, walked into my studio. He's the complete opposite of me. But something happened. He challenged me to race the Ironman triathlon in Chattanooga, Tennessee on May 20th on a 100% plant-based diet. Last week, Ironman trainer Samantha Murphy pushed me to the limit, and I got to see some old demons. John Joseph showed me the spirit world, and I spoke openly about my heroin addiction for the first time. I returned to London and was told by Charles Poliquin that competing on my plant-based diet was impossible. I'm 47 years old and have never run an endurance race in my life. But they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. This is my journey to the Ironman.
I've been on stage playing for 20,000 screaming fans and all that bullshit that happens. Fame, adoration, distinction, money, whatever the fuck. And honestly, the most peaceful time of my life where I just felt the most satisfied was when I was living as a monk.
I earned my degree in the University of the Streets. It was a magical time in the city, and I wouldn't trade my experiences for all the money in the world. New York was one of the most violent cities in the country, and if you didn't mind your P's and Q's, you were gonna have problems. It was a jungle, and just as an animal living in the wild has to fight for its survival, risking life and limb to eat or sleep, the city was no different. That's how it was back then, and that's what I miss about the old school New York City. It was a town of outlaws, and growing up back then taught me some valuable lessons. I was a kid who was homeless, and I hustled and did whatever I had to do to stay alive and see another day. I was a drinker and a drugger who used violence to numb the pain I had inside. I knew I had to get off this train headed for disaster, but I didn't know how. Adversity builds character, and sometimes only when we suffer do we look for truth.
My future was unwritten. I had to write it. It was up to me. It was up to me to wake up every day and try to better myself. Okay, day one. What's my day one? I'm not gonna smoke crack today. And that was so fucking tough because I couldn't run. I had to fight my demons right here.
What happened to me in my childhood, I always felt inadequate, that I didn't matter. You know how hard it was for me to admit, like I wrote in my book, that I was sexually abused as a kid for fucking years? It's embarrassing. I'm like this street dude, hardcore, been locked up, this, that, to admit like, yo, these motherfuckers was doing shit to me. It took a lot.
Everything in my life brought me to a point of anger and rage that literally would make me wait anxiously for some fucker to start shit with me or my friends.
I did a lot of fucked up shit that I had to forgive myself for. I was a fucking liar, a cheater, a thief. Every bad quality that could exist in a person, I had. I always knew I was capable of taking someone's life, and it scared me. because people told me that. They're like, you're gonna fucking kill somebody or get killed. You would not have liked me. I didn't like myself. And my girl says it too, you're the most competitive motherfucker I know. And why is that? Because there's an inadequacy. I said, even if my book helps one fucking person to get through what I went through and not take their life or be a drug addict or go to prison or get murdered, that's why I do Ironman. It's not bragging rights. It's to say, I came from that, look what I'm doing. I have a lot of work I've done on myself, out on that bike or in that fucking pool or out on runs. And every race is emotional. Every race, the last mile of the run, I have tears in my eyes because all of my past is playing in my head like a movie. And I'm like, fuck you. You didn't win, you motherfuckers. You tried to fucking destroy me, but you didn't win. Look what I'm out here doing.
The future is unwritten. It's what we do today that determines how the fuck that future's gonna end up. That's why I'm out on the bike every day. I'm telling you, man, this shit right here, this is motherfucking meditation for me, man. There's a lot of discovery of yourself found in the pain that you willingly undertake to do this shit. Ironman is what keeps me not going back to drug addiction. It's all about the gains in life. I went from iron bars to Ironman. I went from jail and everything else, smoking crack on the Lower East Side. That's the power of the PMA, positive mental attitude.
This weekend was just manic, and the schedule around here at London Real has been manic, and the home schedule has been manic. And my swim teacher looked at me and he said, "What the hell's wrong with you? You look sick." I mean, I got to do this training, but if I don't feel good and I don't feel good physically, then I think it's hard to get excited about doing anything.
What I need you to work on more than anything is how you deal with frustration when it doesn't go perfectly, because that's going to be reality on race day. And I can see that sometimes you get angry. And anger can be a really powerful motivator, but anger can also stop you dead in your tracks. What are my coping mechanisms for when things are frustrating? And you already have to know what those things are, because I can't imagine that in life, if things get frustrating, you've had to figure out how to deal with it without being angry. And if not, then you probably should do it now.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm just overtrained. It's not working. My chest felt like kind of tight on Sunday, which is something like you hear old men say. So it'd be great to consult a doctor. Maybe have them look at my blood to see what's going on. I mean, I just jumped into this diet. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm supposed to go in for a bike and a run right now, and I don't know how it's gonna go. I just hope I don't feel like this on race day.
If y'all ain't seen this documentary I'm doing called Ironmind, it's about this brother that kicked heroin, almost died, and now, because of positive mental attitude, he's racing with me. I need y'all to do something real quick before we start this next song. Can you do that for me? My man's name is Brian. On the count of 3, we're gonna scream, "Get that shit, Brian." Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, get that shit!
next week on Ironmind.
Bad preparation, bad performance. You know, the bike, it's a 4-mile climb, really challenging actually. I think he set you up a little bit there.
Challenging?
Honestly. Rather tell you it's hard and you're going, wow, what was he on about?
And then there's one other little thing that we need to start to work on, which is it might be hot in Chattanooga. So we will start very soon to do a heat acclimation protocol, and it is not comfortable.
Show no mercy.